Hello, everybody. Today I am going to be going over and showing you how to answer your week 2, May 11th through 15th session 2 assignments. We're going to be using your student workbook session, which is here. If you right click on here and press open in a new link, it will open in a different tab where you can go back and forth. And your support files, any file that you need, if you right click again, open link in a new tab, it'll open here. One of the things I want to point out to you is you need to make sure that you are using the correct file. In your calendar, it tells you to use the magazine cover template, okay? You have two magazine cover templates. One is the magazine cover template type panel and tools. The second is the magazine cover template. This is the one that you should be using for this week's assignment. So when you right click on this and download the file, it'll show here. So let's get started. The first assignment is non-printing design tools found on page 20. Make sure when you open up your student workbook, you match the name non-printing design tools with the page 20, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to follow along with what the instruction says here. If you get lost or you get confused and you want a refresher, you can go back to the video reference that it shows here. And if you watch the videos again, then it will bring you up to date on the tasks. We have 6 tasks, and this shouldn't take you no more than 10 minutes. Now, step 1 says, open the PSD file name magazine cover template. Well, I know that we downloaded it, so I'm going to go to Photoshop. I'm going to go to File, Open. In my downloads, I'm going to look for magazine cover. Sorry, I spelled it wrong. Magazine. Let's see. Should open. Of course, mine is not cooperating. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down to magazine cover. Oh, and keep in mind that I am on a Mac. So it may look different from your PC if you're using a PC. All right, so magazine cover template. I know that's the file I want to use. I'm going to press open. Now you might get a message saying that the fonts need to be updated or whatnot. Just press no. You don't have to update any fonts. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open back my student workbook because I'm going to be working from both. So step 1 said to open the PSD file name magazine cover template. Step 2, rotate the canvas 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, so I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to go to transform, and I'm going to click on rotate 90 degrees clockwise. That's it. Number 3, add a grid to the canvas. Okay, so I'm going to go to view, show, and grid. Now I added a grid to the canvas. Number 4, it says move a horizontal guide under the word about on the design. Move a vertical guide to the middle of the design. So the first thing you want to make sure is that your rulers are showing. If your rulers are not showing, all you have to do is come and you check rulers. See, now my rulers are not showing, but I want to turn them on. And for moving guides, you pull them from your rulers. So it says move a horizontal guide under the word about on the design. Okay, so horizontal guides go from left to right or right to left. So I'm going to click in my ruler and bring my guide directly under the about, just like that. And then it says move a vertical guide to the middle of the design. Middle of the design. So vertical goes up and down. So I'm going to click in my rulers and click and drag, and I'm going to bring it right to the middle where I think the middle of this is, just like that. Okay. Next, it says lock the guides in the design. So to lock guides, I'm going to go to view and I'm going to click on lock guides. And then it says save the project as a PDF, a PSD file named 2C-Photoshop-Finish. Now, you want to make sure you follow what I tell you to save the documents as. So, 2C Photoshop Finish. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this so that to make it faster. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. Again, I'm on a Mac. And I'm going to save this as that 2C Photoshop Finish and then my name. And I'm just going to save it on my desktop for now. Desktop. Save. You're going to press OK. Once it's saved, then you can go ahead and press File, Close, and close out. Now, back to your folder. You're going to come to your actual digital folder. I always highly recommend that once you save something, you go to your folder and you upload it. So I am going to use period 5. I think that's what I was using prior to. We're going to use period 5 as an example. All right, so 4th 9 weeks folder. I am working in session 2. So now I'm going to come and I'm going to upload session 2's assignment. I saved mine on the desktop and it is 2C Photoshop, and there you have it. It's in my session 2 second 9 weeks folder. Now I'm going to go to my calendar and I'm going to move on to color swatches and gradients. Okay. And it says page 22 and it tells you you're going to use that same magazine cover template PSD. That's why it's so important. Very, very important that when you finish with that first assignment, you close out because you want to open up that magazine cover document. Let me go to my downloads. You want to open up that same magazine cover document unedited, okay? If you save it and it messes up, you're going to have to re-download that same file all over again. So let me go find my magazine cover document. All documents. I'm not sure why mine is. Give me a second. Magazine cover right there. All right, open. So this is the file that I want to have open because I know I'm going to be using it. Oh, and in Photoshop, if you turn on the grids, the only way it's going to turn off is if you go in and you uncheck it from show. Okay. So you want to do that as well. All right. So next, I apologize. I'm trying to find. Oh, there it is. Let me move that up so I won't lose it again. All right, so we're going to go back and now we're working on colors, swatches, and gradients on page 22. So I'm going to, again, check the bottom and go down to page 22, which is here. And it's going to show you color, swatches, and gradients. If you get confused on this assignment, you can always go back to watch the videos to refresh your memory on what we saw in the videos on the second week of the distant learning. All right, so for this assignment, it's saying it shouldn't take you no more than 5 minutes to do. The purpose of this assignment, upon completing this project, you will know where to find the gradient settings and apply them to your project. All right, so it says for this assignment, create a new Photoshop document that is 300 pixels wide and 300 pixels high. Ensure that the color mode is suitable for display on the web by adjusting the resolution to 72 dpi and changing the color mode to RGB. All right, so I'm going to go to File, New. They want me to create a document suitable for the web. I'm going to change my pixels to 300 width and 300 high. They want the resolution to be 72, and they want the color mode to be RGB. Okay. I'm going to come back to the verbiage to make sure. So create a new document. That is 372 RGB. Now it doesn't tell you what name to put in the title, so we're just going to press create. Okay. And then it says select the gradient tool by pressing G. Okay. So on my computer, I am going to press G, and it gives me that gradient tool. If it doesn't, you could just right click where it brings you to and you press gradient tool. Okay. Next, it says click the gradient in the options bar to open the gradient editor dialog box. So again, we know that this is the options bar, and the option bar cater to whatever tool you have selected. So I am going to click this gradient tool to open up the gradient editor. And then number 4 says using the existing settings at a beginning point, create a new gradient with at least 3 color stops and at least 2 opacity stops. All right. So you have 1, 2 stops. They want you to create a gradient where you have at least 3 color stops and you have 2 opacity stops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the color that I want to use. I'm going to choose red, and then I'm going to click and create another gradient stop, and I'm going to use let's go with blue, and I want 4. So I'm going to change this. And again, it said at least. If you look at the verbiage, it tells you to use at least a certain number. And then for my last one, I want this to be let's do pink. Okay. So my gradient so far, using the existing settings as a beginning point, create a new gradient with at least 3 color stops and at least 2 opacity stops. So I've created this custom gradient, or you can also press new and then you put in the items. But I wanted 4 color stops. Now for my opacity, let's see. Location, that's perfect. All right. For my opacity, I'm going to click at the top because your stops are at the bottom, and that's this row here. But to access your opacity, you have to click the top. The question says to have at least 2 opacity stops. So I want this stop to be I'm gonna bring it over, and I want it to be at least 88%. And then this stop here, I'm gonna bring it, and I want it to have 91. So I've created a gradient that has at least 3 color stops and it has at least 2 opacity stops. And when I come in to put in my gradient, there's my gradient. Okay. Next, it says choose a gradient style, linear, radical, angle, reflective, or diamond, and apply your new gradient to the artboard. So I've applied my new gradient to the artboard, but here's where you up here on the options bar, you can choose from the different gradient style. Okay. I want a diamond effect. So I'm going to click on diamond, and then I'm going to come and it moves it. Okay. If I was to choose a linear, I would click on linear come, and it gives me the linear. Or let's say I wanted a diagonal. Click on the diagonal on the options bar, and now I have a diagonal. Okay. It's totally up to you how you want it to be. The last part of this question says save the completed project as a PSD file named E2E Photoshop Finish. Okay. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. I am going to put that in, and I'm also going to put in my name. I'm going to go ahead and save this to my desktop. It's just easier for me to find. Press OK. Then I'm going to come to my Session 2 folder, File, Upload, and I have my 2E session file. And there you have it. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move to brushes, styles, and patterns on page 23. So I'm going to come over to page 23, which is the last page. I'm going to double check to make sure this says brushes, styles, and patterns. And this should take you about 10 minutes. Upon completing this project, you will be able to create a brush stroke, save it, and modify that brush stroke. So it tells you to open the PSD file named Social Media Templates and create a new blank layer in this file. Well, the first thing I need to do is to get rid of this file that I've already had open. I'm going to close. And actually, that was probably a mistake on my part. You don't need the magazine cover for the second question. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to press close. Now, I'm going to come to my support files and I'm going to right click on that social media file and I'm going to press download. And then again, you will go to file, open, because we need to open the social media file. So let me go to my downloads. I know that it's all the way at the bottom with the S's. And then I'm going to press open. So I've completed question number 1. Okay. Open the PSD file named social media template and create a new blank file. Create a new blank layer in the file. All right. So I am going to create a new blank layer. So I'm going to go to layer, new, and I'm going to click on layer. So that is the new blank layer. Now I'm going to come back to here and see if it tells me to name it something. Create a blank layer in the file. So nope, it just tells me to create it. So I'm going to press OK, and I have that blank layer there. All right, next it says using one of the brush tools, create a shape or texture on that new layer. So I'm going to come to the brush tool and I am going to draw a hat of some sort. Okay. Now, don't judge my hat. Okay. Leave me alone. So next, it says number 3, hold control and click the layer 1 thumbnail in the layer panel to select the non-transparent areas of the layer. So I am going to hold down my control button and then I'm going to simply click the thumbnail. Hold on 1 second. There we go. And then next, it says use the edit menu to define the brush preset as test splat 1. Let me make sure. Hold control and click the layer 1 thumbnail in the layers panel to select the non-transparent areas of the layer. Correct. Use the edit menu to define the brush preset as test splat 1. All right. So we've done that. I've used control to select, I'm on a mat. Select that, and then I'm going to go to edit and define brush preset. And I'm sorry, did it tell us to name it something? Use the edit menu to define the brush preset as test splat -1. Let me copy that. So test splat brush 1, press OK. Then next, use the brush preset picker to modify the brush test splat 1 to your preference and name the new brush preset test splat 2. Use the brush preset picker to modify the brush test splat 1 to your preference. All right, so we're going to come here and this is the brush picker. And basically what it's saying is you can modify it, change it up, make it a little, make it change some settings however you want to change it, make it the size bigger. You can, let's say, show additional preset information. You can make whatever changes you want to make here to it, and then you will rename the brush Test Splat 2, if I am correct. Let me double check. So to your preference and name the new brush preset Test Splat 2. Okay. Hide the layer 1 and then create a new layer in the file. So to hide this layer, you're going to click on the actual eye and it hides it. Okay. Or what you can do is, there are multiple ways of answering these questions. So, well, that's the easiest way. And on the test, when you do it, it's going to want to know that you know how to press the eye to hide that. So we're going to leave that with that. All right. The next one is, it says, then create a new layer in the file. So I am going to simply just come down here. I'm showing you a different way of creating a layer. And now I have a new layer. All right, next, using your 2 new brushes and color of your choice, paint an abstract pattern on layer 2. So let me deselect that. Now I'm going to use spot 1. Oh, I didn't save the other one. I'm so sorry. I didn't change it up. Well, you would have test 1 and test 2 here, and then they want you to create something on there. I'm just doing something really quick. And then once you've created an abstract pattern on layer 2, make sure you are on layer 2, because layer 1 will be here. Actually, let me change layer 1's color to a different color. Let me move this, and I want this to be, it's my paint bucket. I want that to be that color. All right, so this was the first brush, and this was the second brush. Once you show both brushes, it tells you to save it as 2F Photoshop finished. File, save as. I'm gonna save this as that 2F Photoshop finish, and I'm gonna put my name. And I'm gonna save this on my desktop. Again, it's just easier for me to find. You press OK. Then you come to your session 2 and you upload it. Desktop to F. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We will be having a session this week. If you have questions about anything that I've done, you're welcome to come to the session. I will send you this video via Remind, and it'll be on the class website. Again, thank you so much, and bye.